Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, and today for this pattern we are working on straightness, both in the trot and the canter, or actually walk, trot and canter. I'm just warming Ruby up here, as you can see, giving her a little bit of a walk around, checking my position, shuffling my seat a little, making sure that I sit over her balance point. There's a couple of different lines to this pattern. So this is the direct one. This is the easiest one because you've got the triangle helping you maintain straightness. Now remember, as they go through the point, they have to go straight over the point, not drop a foot either side of the point. So the idea of this line is to be able to control the straightness in their shoulders. You have to stay very even in your seat as riders when you are working on straightness in your 3-point seat. So as the exercise goes along, I get off her back and allow the poles to mobilize her a little bit and get her lifting her back. But in the walk, I'm trying to stay very straight and even. Now you'll also notice that at this distance, which is 1.30 m for Ruby, it is a little long, obviously, for her to walk. So I've got it set as a trot distance. So she generally gets a chip stride in with the walk, which is fine. I don't mind. I just want her to stay straight. Training standard walk poles, I would have it at 60 centimeters. So that's the straight through option. And remember, folks, to always get them to walk the lines before you want them to trot them. So this one is we're going down the left side of the poles. So this is a little bit of a harder line because of the triangle in the middle. You've got to get them to have an even step through, or 2 steps through the triangle. Looking where I'm going, coming back down the other side. I remember when I was doing this with Ruby, she was like, "What? Why do you want me to go down that side? Aren't we supposed to go through the middle?" Oh, we did go through the middle. Turning around again. Oh, now we're trotting it. So notice how I keep her trot slow. I don't want her running. I want her to stay slow, and I don't want her pushing all of her energy out through her chest. She wants to. She gets quite strong in my hand, as you can see. Like, I've got my good old breaker arms and wide elbows happening. But she wants to get really strong. She wants to fall through the front end, because getting her to use her back end and sit and lift in the front is quite difficult for Ruby because she's a little bit croup high, or has been a little bit croup high. She's changing shape now and coming up in front, but keep them slow. Don't let them race through this. And the other reason you don't want them racing through it is because you don't want them to bounce pony it. You don't want them to start cantering or to take 2 poles at a time. Use the exercise to train straightness and rhythm. Balance. Keep their balance point back under the saddle. Don't let them throw their balance point out through their pecs. Make them wait. Keep their pole up. So again, she's fighting me a little bit. She wants to get a little strong. So this is one of the diagonal lines, which we later canter. Ruby used to hate triangles. She's starting to get a little bit better with them, but they really mess with her thought process and where her feet need to go. So, right on cue. I'm getting a little rushy after the line, so I'm trying to half halt, slow her down a little more. And it always looks a lot better than what it feels. But, you know, like, she doesn't look like she's pulling and that she's rushing. But she was actually quite strong and really wanting to get quite quick and felt like a bit of a bomb. So I've had to ride quite lightly, saying, no, Wait for me, little girl. Steady, steady. Trying not to get too far over the front of her. She still wanted to get a little bit quick. And when they sit back on their hind and they go at the rhythm that you want them to go, you'll get more cadence. So you'll see the difference in her when she starts to get it a little bit more correct. When she starts to do it in the way that I want her to train it, you'll see the difference in her, the quality of her pace over the poles. And Rubes she has very small hind feet. So we've been doing quite a lot of corrective shoeing to get her more comfortable in her hinds, and she swaps in strength and weakness from hind to hind, but she's a lot more comfortable, and the pole work helps with her proprioception to keep her even behind. And she's waiting for me a little bit better there. So in the normal flat work, just general flat work with Ruby, she can get a little mechanical and a little like a sewing machine. It's why I like to do a lot of pole work with her. Not only does it strengthen her, but it teaches her how to move a little better. Okay, so that's the outside line accuracy. See how we just put 1 to 2 steps through the triangle? So that is a really technical line. It looks easy enough there, but it's not. If your horses aren't straight, they will fall out of the corner of those triangles when you come down those straight lines. She still isn't maintaining a nice enough rhythm for me through that diagonal line. Turning better. I've got control of her shoulders a little better. She's not yanking and fiddling so much in the contact. And then we've gone down the corner again. She was much better. Still struggled. You could see that little hesitation through the triangle as she tried to figure out how many steps she was supposed to put through that corner. This is a little bit better. Oh, she's waited for me. But then dive diffraction and hollow diffraction through the triangle. Tick tock, tick tock. Just trying to keep the rhythm. Nothing fancy, just straightness, balance, and rhythm. Holding the line. Back down through that left side. That was a bit ugly. She missed her footing, missed her steps in the first couple of poles, which then messed it for the rest of it. And I want you to see all the ugly bits, people. I want you to see that it's not always perfect, and that we just little half halts, use your body. It's basically a breath of change in weight and aids with this horse. Some it's a little harder, and some would be even a little more sensitive than her. And it's just learning to adapt to what that horse wants. That was much better, Ruby girl. Much, much better. So you could see in that one, she had started to come up a little bit more through the wither. She had started to lift her legs a little, but hadn't got quicker. Coming around again, coming from the other end. Ugh, those breaker arms of mine. So used to trying to keep the bit straight in horses' mouths, my elbows. It gets better. All right, so this line is a little bit messy for the head initially because you've been going down the center line and then all of a sudden you turn off through the side of the triangle. But once you've done it a few times, they start to understand what the pattern is. Ruby's very much a horse that loves a pattern. So that was a little bit better. And again, trying to keep the rhythm afterwards, not letting her rush off after that triangle. So she's getting quite strong on me there again, getting a bit bossy. And if you can video yourselves doing this, guys, and video, because it's so powerful in teaching us to be better riders. There's nothing more educational for us to be able to see what it looks like and know what that feels like. So, you know, she doesn't look like she's being really strong here, but she actually is. She's like quite strong and wanting to really go. And if I was coaching myself, I would say get your elbows in, try and put a little more weight down through your lower leg, soften her a little more with the combination of pressure from your lower leg to your fingers. So when I ride, I can remember these things and try and make it a little bit neater and put it together a little bit more. Now we're going out the right side, and again she was like, hey, hang on a sec, we were going to the left. So if you have a horse that learns patterns really easily and starts to anticipate, just keep changing rein constantly. Keep mixing it up. Do 2 reps to the left, then 1 to the right, then 2 to the right, 1 to the left, so that they really listen to you. Yeah, good girl. So she dropped her shoulder a little bit then, but she got the right steps. And she's starting to get tired and wanting to pull forward on me. But as she's worked through this exercise and the different lines, her movement, especially behind, has started to become more even. So the fact that she gets better in her mechanics and her mobilization shows that the exercise is doing all the things that poles are supposed to do. All right, canter. Her left canter at this point in time was a little sketchy still. And that doesn't look that wild. It feels ridiculous. But she just wants to gallop through those triangles. She gets a little excited about cantering triangles. So it's a good exercise, again, retraining their brain. She's trying to race on me again. So it's obedience training, giving them something to think about. Causes us as riders to ride lightly and neatly, making her wait so she didn't leap through at that time. She's still very strong, but it's good to up the pressure for them at home with these sort of exercises, and then when you take them out and they can be a little bit hot like Ruby, just normal flat work is really easy. She gets very bossy. You know, I'm trying hard to sit still. So the other thing that cantering up to a triangle line like this will teach you is how to be more adjustable. Like, one, to be able to see your distance down to an obstacle. So it's really good for the jumping riders. And also really good for the dressage riders, because as you go up the levels, you need to know how many canter strides your horses can do in certain movements and to the markers. So it gives you an idea of training your eye to the marker or to the obstacle. But it also teaches you to train adjustability in the horses to get them to maintain a quality pace. And she was very upset with me then because I kept the canter smaller and she wanted to leap. But yeah, it teaches you these sort of diagonal lines teach you how to train a more adjustable canter. See, look at that. That's much, much better. Good girl. Possibly a little bit quick, but we're starting to get the cadence and the power and the push that I'm chasing. And then the canter is a little better. Oh, and that was me not riding to my distance. That was me letting her drop behind my leg. She didn't quite stay up in front of my leg. This one's a little better. This is very dramatic. And again, training downwards transitions in time to then get back down the line. So I find, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, everybody takes their sweet time to get their transitions when they're just training on the flat, and that's so much better. You can see how she's really starting to lift her belly, get her knees up and wait and swing. So pretty happy with her there. These poles patterns don't have to be perfect, but just be effective. Be effective in your riding, and then once you're effective, you can make it prettier. Oh, ugly again. Oh, she's like, I want to go gallop. Bringing her back. Strong half halts using my core, reset, get the canter again. Her right canter is better at this point in time than her left. Better. Oops, still wanting to get strong, but see how the triangle improves the quality of the canter and gets her more on her hind and her front end up. And then her left canter starts to get better just from training from this little exercise. And then she's a little more compliant, still getting a bit strong and wanting to nick off on me. Steady, steady, balance, little half halt. Oh, she's pulling on my arms. Canter, 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 canter. Keeping the front end up, making her weight. Yeah, much better. Still strong, but she's at least staying with me. She's not completely running through my hand and being an upside down alpaca. Canter, 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 canter. Looking for my line. Trying to be still. There's a little ugly lure. Oh, I need to tie my elbows in. You got to get past that horrible self-critical voice in your heads that nitpicks every single thing about yourself when you watch video. Just there's lots of things that I still need to improve with my riding. I've always said I'm a very effective rider. I'm just not that pretty in the saddle. So I'm trying to improve that. I'm trying to look better in the saddle. And as these videos progress, I will. But human nature is to really pick on ourselves. And then you have a few horrible people out there that want to pick on you as well. But they don't register on my radar. Oh, and again, I'll drop my leg off. Because I felt that she was going, but she wasn't. And again. Canter, 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 canter. Getting a little tired here, I feel. So it doesn't want to quite sit as much. Back down the center line. She's a good girl, dead straight. Trying to sit and push. Another canter, another attempt. You just keep schooling, keep softening. And it doesn't have to, they don't have to get it 100% right, just a little bit better. And that was a little bit better. And she told me to nick off because I wouldn't let her gallop off on the other side. She's really hauling on that right rein. So I've been firm in getting her to let go. So that's the thing that you have to remember with these thoroughbreds. When they've raced, they are taught to lug. They're taught to actually lean on the bit and go. So when you have something that's a little bit hot, like Ruby, if she really wants to go, she leans, like she pushes all of her weight down onto that bit and just about pulls my arms out of my shoulder sockets. And it's a little bit to do with her learning to sit and strength train from behind. And it's a little bit to do with her learning to do what I ask her to do and not what she thinks should be done. She's a very clever little mare. She thinks that she knows best sometimes. And I have to just block quietly and say no. And that was better. Good girl. Much better quality of canter. I was happy with that. See if we get it better this time on the left rein. This is her harder rein, as you can tell. Yep, better. Good girl. Her simple changes are getting better. She's waiting for me. And that was heaps better. Much better through the actual triangle. She just wanted to nick off a couple of strides after. Little half halt. Getting a little wild, I feel. So just going back down the center line. Reset her brain. Oh, bit of a trip. And then we're just about done. I just give her a little trot out because she just about had enough. And that's it.